Psst, hey. Hey, kid. Yeah, over here, kid. You want to make some money? What do you mean you can't gamble? Oh, you're only 12? Okay, I think I have something more along the lines of what you like. Here, give this a try, kid.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Balatro, my favorite gateway drug. So yeah, I've been playing this game a lot. Why? I'll tell you why. You get the glorious ecstasy you would normally get from gambling, but you don't get any of the bad downsides from regular gambling. Yup, there's absolutely no downsides to it. Anyway, what is Balatro about? Well, it's a poker-inspired roguelike. It takes elements from regular poker and adds a roguelike twist on top of that. For those unfamiliar with the term roguelike, basically, all you need to know is Local Thunk, the Balatro dev, turned poker into a turn-based dungeon crawl-esque game. That was a lot of words, but basically, Local Thunk, they're pretty baller, because they created a fun game. Something though is that this is a single-player game. Unlike regular poker, there's no dealer or other players. Yep, in this game, you're your own enemy. So how does one win? Well, in order to win, you must meet a certain amount of points, each hand and card giving a certain amount of chips and multiplier. These can be altered in different ways. Once the point requirement is met, you win the bind. What is a bind? Well, there are 3 binds. These are like the 3 difficulties in a round. Small bind, medium bind, and boss bind. Or in other terms, baby bind, kind of scary bind, scary bind. You have a choice to either skip or select a bind, except for the most part, skipping is useless, unless you are in the early game or on a harder stake. You can't even skip bosses. Boss binds are very hit or miss. Some of them are just like medium binds with a small little twist that doesn't really even affect you, or others are binds you hate coming across and will ruin your run. Anyway, you only have to fight 7 regular bosses and 1 super boss, so I hope your luck is good. Who am I kidding? Of course it's good. Why else would you be playing a poker game? I hope you caught that, but yes, I did say super boss. There are 8 antes, which are basically the rounds. And when you beat each ante, the stakes increase. Oh, and at the end of ante 8, there's a super boss. Yeah, these are the real run enders. They are the final boss before you could enter endless mode, which as the name states, endless, but not entirely, unless you have a really good setup. Anyway, enough talk, let's play the game. Well, not so fast. First you have to select a deck and a stake, each deck and stake having their own gimmick. Personally, I prefer the green deck. And when I say green, I mean this kind of green, not that kind of green. Yeah, it gives you money, if that wasn't obvious enough. So you picked out a deck, now you need to pick out a stake. What is a stake? Well, it's the difficulty you want to play at. It goes from white stake that has no challenge that comes with it, to gold stake, which is only for the real masochists. Oh, also as you raise the stakes, the challenges that each stake presents stack onto the next stake. What does this mean? Well, let's say you start off with a white stake, then you go to the red stake. Any challenges from the previous stake that you played at will now stack onto the previous stake, and so on and so forth. That's why gold stake is only for those who really hate themselves. Now, I'm not trying to call myself out, but yeah, I beat the gold stake. Not just that, I beat the gold stake when it was harder. Yeah, that's right, Local Thunk updates this godforsaken game. It used to be harder. What can I say though? I'm better at gambling than you are. So now that we are finally playing the game, what happens? Well, after every completed round, you receive money for the hands or discards you have left, or a set based amount of money you can receive from completing the bind, which basically adds a whole new aspect and mechanic to the game. With this money, you could buy one of 3 things: a joker, a booster pack, or a voucher. Jokers arguably being the most important, and vouchers arguably being the least. Don't get me wrong, vouchers aren't useless, but it's almost impossible to win without jokers, each joker giving their own benefit. I say benefit in quotations though, because some jokers are borderline useless. Find me a person that actually uses 6th sense, and I will give them something. And I use that something very loosely because this joker sucks. For this reason, you need to be very strategic when picking out jokers. Some are good for the decks you got, some are good all around, and some are like 6th sense. If you use them, I think you hate yourself. Anyway, it looks like you have a pretty good setup, and you finally won. What happens next? Well, endless mode, of course, because the fun can never end. Not until you beat the house. And the house always wins. Mostly because there is no house in the game. Yet. But anyway, now you know everything you need to get started. So kid, what do you think? You ready to make some money? Wait, no, kid, come back!